creating wealth as an employee, uh, creating a new paradigm for yourself, changing the narrative. We live in a world where every day things are increasing in their amount. We live at a time when there is more wealth in the world. However, there's disparity between the wealthy and the poor. In order for me to move away from whatever I have seen from my father's house, from the place of my upbringing, and the people around whom I grew, I needed to re educate my mind. Financial illiteracy is a terrible thing. It has held millions in bondage, and they do not realize that you can't just pray for money without acquiring the skills. Even if the money came, you wouldn't know how to manage it or multiply it. You wouldn't know how to multiply it unless somebody took the time to teach. With that having been said, we welcome all those who are joining us for the first time. We guarantee you that some of the things you will hear will be, oh wow, I need to shock you, but change you. All right, with that in mind, let's start. Number one, find a career. We didn't say find a job, find a career. With a career, you can build a whole future. A career, in a career you are very much interested, find a career you are very much interested in and will do anything to get into it. If you find that dentistry is the career, not a job, find that career and get interested, because if you are not on fire about what you do, you will not be able to use it to create wealth. However, if a man decides that he wants to use teaching to create wealth and he has fire about teaching, he will be if he finds the other information. A training career or a career you have access to get into easily is what you should find. The one you can get into easily or the one that is trending. For example, there are people who have found that through coding, they can create wealth. So they've moved away from anything else they have studied to begin computer coding. Find what you can do very well. A career of the future that will make you go further ahead in years to come is what you need. You don't need something which can end abruptly. You've got to be able to create a future and to build something that will go on for years. There are some jobs which have a termination if you are not in that industry. And that's the reason why, if you're going to be in that kind of industry, you need to maximize your time. Sometimes when I talk of things like that, I think of a person who is a mechanic in a ship. The day they change mechanics or they cancel your opportunity to be a mechanic in a ship, you can't walk the streets of your city and say, I'm looking for a job. And they say, what do you want? I'm a mechanic in a ship. Sorry, ships don't ride on roads. So find a career you're excited about, the one you can be in for years, the one that can give you, that you can get access into easily. Remember those truths. I'm just going to be giving you bullets today that can practically begin to move you in the direction of wealth creation. Number two, invest in other people's business. So you're an employee. You find somebody else is doing business, and there are legal papers they have presented to you and have asked you to come and invest. Get a lawyer to advise you. Invest in that business. What is happening when you are investing in that business is that while you are doing your job in your career, your 9 to 5, the money you have put in that business is also working. So technically, it is you and your money as an entity that is working. You go to work in the morning, your money in that company is also working. So because your money is working in that company, you are creating wealth through that company. Number three, you want to create wealth as a career person. You may not want to hear it, but I'll say it here for those who never heard it. Give entrepreneurship a shot. Why? You need to read Matthew Ashimolo's book, 33 Irrevocable Laws of Wealth Creation. And law number 5 says, it is very difficult to create wealth without an enterprise. And for those of you who know the Bible, Deuteronomy 28, verse 5 to 12, presents 3 things through which you can handle wealth or money. The first one says your hand. The second one says a basket. And the third one says a storehouse. Now, these 3 are also levels of wealth creation. Whatever fits into your hand is limited. I like to think of these as salary. So if you are in a salary, everything you are earning is fitting into your hand. If you have a small business, 5 clients, 10 clients, even if it's some tiny things you're selling, you're buying, you're selling, you're buying, you're selling, you're buying, you're selling. The first business I did for myself was in 1971. I believe it was 71 or 72. That is 52 years ago. It may not mean much to you. But I bought a basket full of, I bought cola nuts from various farmers, made sure the peel was removed, washed it very well, and traveled to town with it. The cost of my transportation plus the cola nut in a full basket was £2. The sale of the cola nut, I was in a hurry, was £5. So my first profit was 60%. That is basket. Basket is small and medium enterprise. If you hire 1 staff, 2 staff, 4 staff, 6 staff, you're still operating at the basket level. But then the third level is storehouse, where you have logistics. You have 10 bags of something yet to be sold, 50 bags, 70 bags there. You ordered in a container of a material yet to be sold. We have a young man in our church in the country of Nigeria who brings in about 100 containers of material needed by breweries, water people. He brings in about 100 to 150 containers. He is no longer in the basket level. He is no longer at the storehouse level. He is at the hand level. He is at the storehouse level. So entrepreneurship helps you to decide what volume you want to handle and how the volume increases. Number 4, invest in wealth creation, not in lifestyle. This is where the rubber hits the road. The challenge with many people who are in a career who just earn a salary is they want to maintain a lifestyle. They want certain kind of clothing, certain kind of car, certain kind of status. When you want to create wealth, you have to invest in wealth creation. In wealth creation, not in lifestyle. If you are a person investing in a lifestyle, this kind of hair that is popular, not minding the cost, you can't create wealth. That's the honest truth. But if you want to create wealth, you have to not worry who looks at your hair, who looks at the clothes you wore. And you knew how to go into the city and find where the things are the cheapest. For a long time, in this city of London, I had one shop in Holborn where I used to buy my suits. It happens that when the suits, that is like a £500, £700 suit, that time, 30 years ago, when it's been sold in Harrods, the company that marketed it to Harrods, once they find one thread coming out, They are unable to take it to Harrods. So these guys go, they clear it out, and they sell it for £75. 775. One thread. What's the big deal? I removed the one thread. You didn't see it. I wasn't creating a lifestyle. I was interested in wealth creation. Now, the little money I had, meanwhile, I began to put it into trying to run business in Africa. One day I shall tell you my story in full, how I created wealth. But I've just told you the beginning. One basket of kola nuts was the beginning, to the point of being the distributor of Christian books, representing 40 publishers in West Africa, to the point of converting that to own lands, and so on and so forth. Number 5, start living on passive income. I want you to not forget number 5, no matter what you do. And I'll tell you why. And A explains it. It says, reduce or stop living on your salary. What does that mean? If I don't live on my salary, how do you want me to exist? Let us say, for example, you've been working for 5-7 years, and you now have enough money to buy a car on hire purchase, and you have contracts, and you could lease it to a company that has a group of drivers who drive Uber. You shouldn't do friends, giving a friend a car to drive for Uber. Never do those kind of nonsense. Don't bring friendship into business. Don't bring family into business. Hand the car to a company. The driver goes to deal with that company. The company puts a noose around his neck. They tell him they'll kill him. I'm just joking. They'll do this if he doesn't deliver their money. So here you are. You took this car on hire purchase. You gave to the company, they gave a driver. They are delivering a certain amount to you every month. Where you lease the car, say for example, your monthly payment to the car company is £700 for the car you rented. But they are giving to you £1,500 every month from the Uber. So you gave 700 to the people who own the car, and you kept 800. With 800, you began to live your life. I'm giving an example. Some of you have a need more than 800 pounds. But now, you could now live on what you got from the Uber, and your salary is untouched. You therefore made up your mind that you're going to put your salary in some kind of mutual fund. So you denied yourself. The first 10-15 years, you were living on this money that is coming from side businesses. You never touched your salary. 2 things will happen. Firstly, your salary begins to multiply. Secondly, I tell you, you don't know the deliverance. There's a deliverance that has to do with not knowing when the month ended or the month began. It's a beautiful feeling. Not to even know that it's month end, oh, salary. No. Rather, the only time you think it's month end, oh, salary is when you need to pay people's salary. So, number 6, get smart about your salary. Get smart. What do we mean by get smart? Listen to this. A consistent salary from employment can be a good and safe source of income for building a saving pot, not for paying bills, or else all of your life, by the time you are racked and your bones are tired, you're still collecting salary. Income for building a saving pot or to access credit from financial institutions. So, for example, the person who did not touch their salary all those 14 years, but they just kept putting it in equity and keep putting it in mutual trust. Did you know after 10-14 years, if they approach and say they want to buy property, they have equity with which to buy properties. So you are able to access financial institutions for purpose of acquiring property or investing jointly with those who have better entrepreneurial skills. Number 7, hire professional wealth managers. In the Wealth Masterclass, we teach you to make, manage, and multiply money. We do not occupy the place of wealth managers. There are specialized people who do that, who are able to say, okay, where do you want to invest your money? They show you the various ones. We teach it. We teach you mutual funds, the various places to invest. We did that in the first session with career persons, and we might be doing a lot of it again today. We teach you to, if you are not going to touch the money for the next 10, 14 years, to begin to put your money in something like a mutual trust that goes on your behalf, or hedge funds that goes on your behalf, to buy shares. They take the money of many people, not you alone. And all the monies they collect, they use it to buy shares, to buy and invest. And then you get a certain percentage, a certain percentage, a certain percentage. Hire professionals. Don't let somebody in your neighborhood counsel you. Some of them might counsel you to do what is common in the black community, a susu. A susu is a savings account of the poor. Has no interest, does not increase. It's emergency money. You are talking wealth creation, not a susu. I use that word because even though it comes from West Africa, from the Yorubas, it was transferred across the Atlantic by the slaves. It's the same word in Jamaica, Guyana. In fact, they use it in America. It is the same word across Latin America where blacks are. It's the same word in Brazil and in the Caribbeans. A susu is emergency saving. Makes you feel good the day you collect the large sum, but you haven't done anything other than expose yourself to large money. True wealth is not for you to see large money in your hand. It is for you to have equity.